In this video, we're going to find out whether humans should continue eating meat. To do that, we're going to weigh up the pros and cons of eating meat, which I've divided up into 3 groups. Firstly, the pros and cons of eating meat on our health. Secondly, on the environment. And finally, the ethical pros and cons. Once we've heard about the pros and cons, we can come to a conclusion about whether humans should or shouldn't stop eating meat. But first, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and like this video for more great content. Let's get to it. One of the biggest reasons people say meat should be banned or kept is because of the consequences it has on our health, good or bad. But before that, we need to understand the different types of meat, because some are more or less harmful to our health than others. All meats are a good source of protein and important vitamins needed to keep our body running, with protein in particular being vital for humans to build muscle. White meat is probably the healthiest type of meat. It comes from birds and small mammals, and it has less fat than other types of meat. Examples include chicken, fish, and turkey. Red meat is red when raw and darker cooked. Because of this redness, it contains more iron than white meat, which is good for energy levels. Red meat also contains lots of zinc, which is good for the immune system. But it also contains a lot more fat than white meat, and this is where we start to run into some problems. Red meat and processed meat are typically grouped together as meats that can cause early death. Processed meat is meat that has been salted, smoked, dried, or cured. Sausage, bacon, and hot dogs are examples. Both red meat and processed meat are associated with an increased risk of cancer, diabetes, and heart disease. Are these health problems associated with eating meat a reason why it should be banned? Maybe, but remember that meat remains the most convenient source of protein available, in terms of price, and the amount that you have to actually eat to get enough protein. You can get enough protein from plants, but you have to eat a lot more to get the same amount of protein you would from the same amount of meat. Because of this fact, meat, specifically lean meat, is an important food for people trying to lose weight. The second group of arguments on whether or not eating meat should be banned relates to its effect on the environment. To produce the amount of meat needed to satisfy our needs, it requires a lot of industry, which contributes to global warming. As well as this, animals are often overfed and sometimes filled with drugs to make them big enough to produce enough meat, which can be bad for them and us when we eat them. The overgrazing of cows also has the effect of using up land that could be used for other purposes. Cows also compact the soil and remove all the grass, leaving it virtually useless for anything else. The final group of pros and cons on eating meat concerns the ethics of it. Ethics is the study of right and wrong, so in this section we're talking specifically about whether or not it's morally right or wrong to kill animals for meat. Those in favour of eating meat argue that it's part of the food chain and a process that humans have done for millions of years. Those against argue that it's cruel to kill animals, especially at the rate they're killed nowadays, which is no comparison to what humans have traditionally eaten. Along these lines, those against eating meat stress that as humans, we are omnivores with longer stomachs than carnivores. Thus, we can get all the nutrients we need purely from eating plants. In conclusion, it seems that eating meat shouldn't be banned, as it's one of the most convenient sources of protein and contains lots of other vitamins and minerals. Although there are some that think eating meat should be banned on ethical grounds because it's cruel to animals, the vast majority of humans eat meat and have done for many years, so I don't think it can be banned on these grounds. However, it does seem that the over-farming done to produce enough meat at the rate we eat it is having some negative effects on the environment, in terms of global warming, but also by harming the animals and us when we eat them. So maybe we should continue eating meat, but at a slower rate, or in a way that's more environmentally friendly. That's me. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Thanks for watching.